everybody, and today we're going to watch all the videos from SpongeBob SquarePants. We have all the theories from SpongeBob SquarePants from Christian Trends. We're going all the way to newest to shortest. So first off, we have Santa Bob theory, and I hope you guys been waiting for this to make me a video, so I'm here again. And today I just wanted to say I wanted to make a new creation for like Sunday nights. Like we should do actually today this is Sunday night watch. So first off we have Santa Bob. Let's do it.
This sinister city, Bikini Bottom, brings a battle between
Here we
good and
go.
evil. Squidward Q Tentacles
Coles versus SpongeBob
SquarePants.
SquarePants.
A battle between
I
two
fake
neighbors
SpongeBob
that are
because
polar
he's too
opposite of
happy.
one another. I believe that SpongeBob is the underwater version of Santa Claus and is bringing joy
Underwater?
into citizens in Bikini Bottom. And I'm being 100% serious when I say
Are
that
you
SpongeBob's
sure you're 100%
existence is based
serious?
on removing the devil from the corrupted bodies. Get ready for the
What?
Santa Bob theory.
Here we go.
It's festive time again. Christmas season.
It's-
What's better than eating Christmas cookies and going caroling around the neighborhood? The one thing I loved more than that is waiting for the SpongeBob Christmas special every year on Nickelodeon. I have been watching SpongeBob for over half my life and never thought SpongeBob had hidden holiday messages, but I guess I'm proving something more positive and bright instead of the usual dark and terrifying theories that mess up your childhood. Well, let's brighten your childhood right now with this theory.
Chapter 1.
So Bikini Bottom was just an ordinary city, and it was stated that there
It's
was
just a
time when
city,
no one
yeah.
in Bikini Bottom have ever heard of Christmas, and the citizens in Bikini Bottom
Never heard
didn't
of
always
Christmas.
celebrate it. In the episode Christmas Who, Sandy was putting up the Christmas lights, and SpongeBob mistaked the lights for fire.
Fire! Don't worry, Sandy! Stand back, Sandy! Fire!
Fire?
Sandy gets shocked that SpongeBob never knew what the celebration was. After Sandy
Wait,
explained
what?
everything to SpongeBob,
He doesn't know?
finally realized what Christmas was. I believe that
What
there
is
is a solid reason
Christmas?
Sandy is teaching SpongeBob about Christmas. Maybe she was directed by a human being in the TV show.
Who is
that
it?
got-
Who is it?
No, not Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but someone
No.
more magical.
Oh,
more
wait, I saw the
brilliant,
picture.
More powerful. More everything.
King Neptune. Why him?
King Neptune is the most powerful living being in the SpongeBob SquarePants universe.
Yeah?
He has the power to magically do anything with the snap of his fingers. I believe that
I
King
know.
Neptune is the underwater version of God that chose SpongeBob to bring spirit into Bikini Bottom since it's already full of filth. In the episode Neptune Spatula,
Neptune
SpongeBob
Spatula.
outsmarted him and taught him with the phrase,
Perfect patties are made with love, not
Actually, I remember
This
that
talking
episode.
cheese
I
taught
watched it
Neptune,
before.
The god of the sea, a serious lesson. This may have caused Neptune in favoring SpongeBob and probably made SpongeBob Jesus Christ. Which could be true since
Jesus?
he suffers his life pleasing everyone in Bikini Bottom and keeping them happy. Back to the episode Christmas Who. He began to tell all of his friends about Christmas and shoot bottles of letters for Santa to the surface of the ocean.
Wait,
Everybody
what
is
the?
convinced except for
That's
Squidward.
weird.
He refuses to believe that Santa Claus exists. He even calls Santa a big phony and
A
doesn't
big
stop bringing
phony?
hatred in
Santa's not a
everyone's
big
mind.
phony.
SpongeBob, how many times do I have to say it? I don't believe in Santa Claus!
Since SpongeBob is Jesus Christ, then the
Whoa,
opposite
that's
of that
not
is the
good.
devil. This episode illustrates the clash between two entities, good and evil. Squidward went way too far to cause everyone to hate SpongeBob, and I also believe that Squidward has done something to Santa Claus from above the sea. On Christmas Day, Santa never came, and Squidward then acted like a jerk and rubbed it into his face, causing him to lose his belief. SpongeBob handed Squidward his gift, which left him in tears. This causes him to make it up and wear a Santa
Wait,
outfit to
what?
cheer up SpongeBob. I believe
Yeah,
that
I
this
remember
moment
that,
positive
but-
spirit reached his brain, which resulted in him paying the price by giving his
I don't
valuable
know.
possessions
I don't
to
know what to
the citizens of
say.
Bikini Bottom. Then something really interesting happened. Squidward got a thank you letter from the Santa above the sea, which means that Neptune succeeded his plan to remove the hatred underwater. This theory proves that Neptune gave SpongeBob the role of becoming Jesus Christ and bringing the Christmas spirit in Bikini Bottom to eliminate all the evil found. And that is the Santa Bob theory. I'm sure this theory brought the light into your eyes.
Okay. That was actually kind of great. I have no reasons, but why was... Let's just get to the next one, which is the next one is called The Soul Theory, SpongeBob's The Soul Theory. We have the Soul Theory. Let's see it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
If you are the type of person
SpongeBob has been one of the best TV shows from my generation. It's filled with humor and detailed meaning. Now this is my next SpongeBob conspiracy where I research SpongeBob episodes to find a story behind this highly unique TV show. Today I'll talk about the reason why the Flying Dutchman came down to steal SpongeBob's soul. Today's episode
Oh,
is one of the
yeah.
most
Why?
episodes
I have
ever
a
made.
question
We
for
go back
that.
to season 1, Scaredy Pants. Grab your Halloween candy and
It's
look
not
at the
even
movie
Halloween. I mean, it's
because
coming
this story
up.
will scare the pants off
Yeah.
you. This is the Soul Theory. The episode starts out with SpongeBob cleaning the dishes and getting scared to a point where he eagerly wants to go home. Mr. Krabs decides to tell him a quick story that he claims to be true as the Deep Blue. Mr. Krabs tells the story of the Flying Dutchman swooping down every Halloween to steal people's soul.
Every year, on Halloween night, the Flying Dutchman descends on Bikini Bottom in a pirate ship just like this. Swoops down and starts stealing people's souls. Then he puts them where you can never get them, in his soul bag.
Later then, Mr. Krabs
That's actually
laughs at
kind of
SpongeBob
scary.
for being a scaredy pants, and SpongeBob freaks out and goes home and gets scared by many people on the way home. Patrick suggests that SpongeBob needs a good costume to be scary. SpongeBob
Yeah.
wants to dress up as the ghost of the Flying Dutchman. After getting laughed at a bunch of trick-or-treaters and watching Patrick's idea, SpongeBob decides to shave his square head into a round
Square
one.
head.
When he arrived at the Krusty Krab,
No.
SpongeBob appeared to scare everybody at the party until they found out it's SpongeBob. All of a sudden, the Flying Dutchman arrived to the Krusty Krab, and I'm thinking that Mr. Krabs brought him down, since the story he told SpongeBob in the beginning of the episode was made up by Mr. Krabs and Squidward. Clearly, they didn't seem scared of the story because it wasn't even a
Why?
true story, and probably hired Flying Dutchmen to arrive to the Krusty Krab. If you don't believe me, Mr. Krabs said, "Hope you're not too scared to come to me party, me boy." The Flying Dutchman came at the exact time SpongeBob got exposed, as if somebody gave him a signal. If you want more evidence, then at the end of the episode when SpongeBob's brain
This
was
is
exposed,
interesting.
we saw everyone
It's
run
getting
out of the Krusty
interestinger.
Krabs except for Eugene Krabs.
Oh my god!
If he was scared, he wouldn't have left the Krusty Krabs like everyone else, but it seemed like he was expecting
Where's
SpongeBob
Mr.
to save him from the
Krabs?
ground. The reason Mr. Krabs was not scared is because he knows the
This
Flying
is
Dutchman
so
and was probably
crazy
exposed
right
to a lot of
now.
scary things. This proves that Mr. Krabs and the Flying Dutchman are good friends and they're planning to scare SpongeBob.
Wait,
Thankfully,
what?
SpongeBob
They're
beat Mr.
friends?
Krabs at his own game and scared the Flying Dutchman out of the Krusty Krab. And that's the Soul Theory.
Oh
Please
my
keep
god.
a lookout for my
Why did Mr. Krabs is not afraid of SpongeBob? Next up, the imagination theory.
Okay, last chance. Enter Honey's giveaway now, and you could win this.
SpongeBob has been
Warning: This every single episode that we're trying to make it will have ads.
one of the best TV shows from my generation. It's filled
Yeah,
with
it's
humor
good.
and detailed meaning. Now this is my next SpongeBob conspiracy where I research SpongeBob episodes to find a story behind this unique TV show. Today I'll talk about the importance of being happy with the simple things found in life and how to use your imagination to see life in a happier and more fulfilling way. Today's episode is one of the most meaningful episodes ever made when we go back to season 3 episode 4, Idiot Box. Here
Idiot
we will
Box.
cover how easily you can be happy with nothing
It's
but
pretty
an
good
ugly-looking
episode.
normal box. To understand why, let's take it from the top. The episode starts out with SpongeBob and Patrick waiting for a mysterious
Why they're
package
dancing
outside
like
the
that? That's so
pineapple. They
weird.
dance like monkeys for 30 seconds and decide to
Uh,
open the box to reveal a giant screen television,
Whoa,
which leads
that's
to
actually
Squidward being
huge.
jealous. SpongeBob is made fun of for buying a TV just for the box, but he tells Squidward that they don't need a box as long as they have their imagination. Now this scene is what strikes my mind. SpongeBob and Squidward are two different people who see the world in different
Yeah, they have the
perspectives.
same
In one hand, we have
ages.
SpongeBob, a
In
young,
the happy
joyful kid
side.
full of hope and childish behavior. In the other hand, we have Squidward,
But
a sad,
the dark
angry ghost
side.
that acts like an angry veteran from World War II. Don't forget that they both practically have the same life. For example, they live in the same street, work at the same
same
place,
race,
and are
water,
the same
same
age. But
age.
they act like opposing magnets. SpongeBob can do many things with just a box, like avalanche climbing, police chase, and robot pirate island. But let
Whoa,
aside
that's actually
Squidward
kinda
not
cool.
being able to use his imagination in a box, but even after having a TV,
Wait, what's
he
happening?
isn't
Why is
able
this
to
music?
even have as much fun as SpongeBob
Music.
and Patrick. This statement proves that SpongeBob and Squidward are very opposite people and don't even
Yeah,
come
they're
close
very
in
opposite
similarities.
people.
Squidward takes the box and goes home, but realizes he left the remote and hears SpongeBob and Patrick making those cool noises. He starts to believe it for a few seconds and tries to use his imagination at home with his own box. You see, even though Squidward tried his best to use his imagination, he couldn't connect wires. He hears a space launch from the box and starts thinking that they are using a tape recorder. to
Tape
fool him.
recorder?
Squidward finally decides to join the fun and sadly can't hear anything exciting. He
What?
decides to sneak in the box when they fall asleep to find out where those sounds came from. Squidward then pretends to drive a race car and his imagination somehow works, but sadly
How?
it was a garbage truck the whole time. Now this
Wait.
episode disturbed me a lot in the past
Why?
since the ending was sad. No matter how hard Squidward tried, it just didn't work. Every Squidward episode ends in the same way. He never gets what he wants in life. If
This is
episode
sad.
teaches us anything, then it teaches us to always have
He's
a
making
positive
me so
attitude,
sad.
and
He was
you
about
might
to
even
cry.
get to use your imagination. And that's how the theory ends. With that being said, please check out my other
That was the saddest theory I ever heard. Moving on to the next theory, how SpongeBob's innovation fell recently.
Our ancestors had a mystical connection with red pandas. And what was
Oh, it's coming out.
SpongeBob has always been one of my favorite TV shows.
Me
It's filled
too.
with jokes and hidden messages. Now this is my next SpongeBob conspiracy where I research SpongeBob episodes to find a theory behind this unique TV show. Today I'll talk about how SpongeBob is living in a false reality. Today's SpongeBob episode is one of the weirdest episodes in season 1 and it's called Sandy's Rocket. The episode will cover how SpongeBob and his friends live on a different planet. To understand
Yeah,
why,
Sandy's
let's take it
rocket?
from the top. A quick recap
Oh,
of the
wait,
episode.
wait.
SpongeBob walks to Sandy's house to find out that Sandy is going to the moon. He begs her to let him join the mission. After countless pleases, she
That's-
finally agrees to take him. Sandy points
Okay.
her puff gun and SpongeBob tells Sandy that there are aliens, but she denies it. SpongeBob then says, "How do you explain Atlantis?"
How can you be so naive? There's evidence all around us. How do you explain Atlantis, Cowlicks, 99-cent stores?
If you think again, there is a city called the Lost City of Atlantis.
Yeah.
A city with a race of aliens. In this episode, Atlantis Squarepantis, we can see a city called the Lost City,
City
of
of Atlantic
Atlantis.
City.
Literally a city full of aliens that share their technology with the fish in Bikini Bottom, like art, wealth, and underwear. These aliens seem very friendly and have traveled billions of light years to reach their home planet. Back to the episode. Patrick suddenly appears at SpongeBob's home.
I remember
gives
the
him an
episode.
Alien repellent spray and convinces him to go.
I wish
to
I could
rocket.
skip it, but
SpongeBob
no.
and Patrick
This is a
mess
Sunday
around
night-
with the buttons
Sunday
of the
night
rocket and
watch.
accidentally launch the rocket. When the rocket ascends, we are not shown that
It's
they
5
are leaving
o'clock.
Earth, but only leaving Bikini Bottom. Shortly after, Sandy takes a jetpack to the moon.
Oh,
and we notice
wait.
that the moon is way
Wait.
too small. Sandy's size suggests that this is not our moon, but instead could be a different planet's moon. What other planet could
Oh.
it be? Mercury, Venus, Earth,
Oh
Mars, Jupiter,
my
Saturn, Uranus,
god.
and Neptune?
Neptune?
Wait, Could it be King Neptune?
Wait,
ruler
what?
of the underseas?
This
could
is
make
now
a
getting
lot of
so
sense because
crazy.
King Neptune is the god of Bikini Bottom, and I'm thinking he brought them to a planet called
Oh,
Neptune and gave them
no.
abilities to act and behave like humans. This
I don't
could
like
make a lot of sense.
this.
SpongeBob and Patrick go back to Bikini Bottom and start to think their planet is a replica and think that aliens are projecting their memories onto the environment. Okay, they're clearly making this up, but we do know that there are Atlantean aliens
Yeah.
and they have the best technology possible, which means that they could project memories. SpongeBob and Patrick start to hunt for aliens and manage to load their rocket full of citizens and go to the moon where they're trapped forever since the rocket broke apart with Sandy in it. This episode shows us that the entire SpongeBob world is a false reality in which King Neptune could be causing. And that's the theory. This
Finally.
theory took a lot of time and
Oh my god, this theory, man. This was kind of dark. Next up, the Flying Dutchman theory. Godzilla movie.
Monsters. With YouTube Premium, you can download.
how did the Flying
Dutchman.
Dutchman die?
Oh.
Where is his body?
It's already getting
Why
dark.
does he haunt Bikini Bottom?
Bruh, this is
Who
only
is
7
Davy
minutes.
Jones? Well,
I don't
today
know, it's
will
Davy
be
Jones.
answering the biggest questions of the Flying Dutchman. This is a story of vengeance and war. This is the Dutchman theory.
Here we go. Part 1, the death.
SpongeBob is one of the most meaningful TV shows created in this generation. It
Yeah.
contains weird moments, humor, and hidden stories that have connections. Today's theory will cover the backstory of the Flying Dutchman and much more.
Flying
to be revealed.
Dutchman?
The Flying Dutchman is a ghost that's over 5,000 years old. He
5,000?
haunts the sea to seek revenge. But why? Well, back in the episode Squidward the Unfriendly
Pretty
Ghost, we got the
Oh,
Flying
I know
Dutchman's
that.
first appearance in his origin story that SpongeBob and Patrick found in Squidward's house.
Origin of the Flying Dutchman. It says when he died, they used his body as a window display. Now he haunts the 7 seas because he was never put to rest.
When the Flying Dutchman died, they used his body as a mannequin. Since nobody put
my
him to
God.
rest, he started haunting the 7 seas.
Guys, I
I'm
think
thinking
after
that
this,
the
I'm gonna
reason
get
he wasn't put to
nightmares.
rest was because the mannequin was not his real body. The
What?
Flying Dutchman is indeed glowing green in all the episodes, but that's just
Yeah.
the ghost. The Bikini Bottom residents know that somewhere in Bikini Bottom, the Flying Dutchman's body is hidden, but for the sake of the comic book, they made a fake body for graphics. In the episode Your Shoes Untied, the Dutchman told us that he'd never worn shoes in over 5,000 years, which also means that he died 5,000 years ago, since ghosts don't really have feet.
I don't know how to tie me shoes. I haven't worn shoes for over 5,000 years.
He is obsessed with socks, which makes me ask myself,
Yeah.
why? Upon thinking the reason
Why?
why he's obsessed with socks is because he misses being alive. The socks
Oh
are one of the only things
my
that
God.
remind him of his living days. The Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob is based on a real-life myth where the ghost
Why?
is not able
This
to
is
hit
so
port.
weird,
The
guys.
devil
This
heard
is
his
so
fault of
weird.
succeeding even if he had to sail until the day of the god. This triggered the devil to sentence the Dutchman to remain at sea forever. Hint, hint. The devil might be someone in the actual TV show. Now this makes
Oh,
sense
wait.
since the Dutchie had
Yeah,
a sad
what
life
if?
where him and his friend Dallin, who was in the myth, had to sail the 7 seas forever. You guys might be asking me how he died. Calm down, let me tell you. The
Okay.
ship broke apart and sank, causing the Dutchman to die. But another
Okay.
question flies through my mind, which is, where is his body? In the episode Mauna Loa, we see a bit of an uncover. SpongeBob and
my
Patrick
God.
randomly walking and fall
Oh
into a
no,
underground
do
amusement
not
park
say
with a
it.
ship that looks exactly like the Dutchman's ship.
Oh,
but the craziest bit is
my-
the 2
what is
skeletons
it?
we see on the ship. It's the Flying
Dutchman
Dutchman and
and the
Dallin.
wood.
This makes so
Oh,
much
says,
sense now.
yeah.
We finally found out the
The
physical
true
traces
of
of
the
the Dutchman.
Dallin.
We did it! We did it! We did it!
I hate Dora.
We found out the Dutchman, how he died. Oh, we did it! We did it! Yeah! Woo! Hooray! We did it!
The hunt. Here we
In the
go.
episode Scaredy Pants, Mr. Krabs was telling SpongeBob that every Halloween, the Dutchman swoops down and starts stealing people's souls.
Yeah.
Every year on Halloween night, the Flying Dutchman descends on Bikini Bottom in a pirate ship. Flying Dutchman swoops down and starts stealing people's souls. He puts them where you can never get them. In his soul bag.
SpongeBob goes home to prepare for a Dutchman costume. He soon realizes that he needs to be round to be scary and asks Patrick to shave his body. All of a sudden, the Flying Dutchman arrives to the Krusty Krabs to steal everyone's soul because of how insulting SpongeBob's costume is. Then he unmasks him and freaks out.
Oh my god.
This tells us that the Flying Dutchman is a supernatural figure. In the episode Shanghaied, we are shown that Flying Dutchman can control space and time, which means he has godlike powers. He gave SpongeBob and Patrick
This is
3
getting
wishes
so
just
dark,
like
guys.
a genie. According to Roman mythology, the Flying Dutchman classifies as Orcus, the devil, since he collects people's souls and has the liberty to control space and time. But then what is the opposite of a devil? Maybe a god, right? Or specifically King Neptune. I believe Dutchman is the enemy of King Neptune and is trying to ruin his collection of creatures since he was never put to rest. The reason of the soul snatching is since he wants everybody to suffer the way he did at sea.
Sad.
The Dutchman lived a sad life full of sorrow and pain, which led him to his miserable life.
Finally, the last chapter, Davy
In many
Jones.
of the earlier episodes, the Flying Dutchman mentioned Davy Jones' locker, which is literally a coffin with his body inside it. The Flying Dutchman seems to be a servant of Davy Jones, but then why would Davy Jones want Dutchie to steal souls? Well, in the episode SpongeBob SquarePants versus the Big One, we actually found Davy Jones as a normal human, which tells us that Davy Jones is alive and seems to be controlling the Dutchman. He is a human indeed, and I'm guessing he is a movie director that is responsible to film the show SpongeBob SquarePants. Take a look at his outfit. He's wearing a dress shirt and shiny shoes. Not to mention he is singing a song and throwing socks at him, which looks like a film scene. This ties back to the television theory stating that the show SpongeBob SquarePants is filmed by scuba divers.
Make sure to see that theory.
Remember when the devil in the myth who forced Dutchie to stay on sea forever?
Yeah.
He seemed like a leader, and the opposite of a leader is a servant. But Dutchman is the servant of Davy Jones, which means that Davy Jones is behind his tragic life. He was the one who summoned this Dutchman to stay on sea forever. This is crazy. And that's how the theory ends. This theory took a lot of effort, so
This was actually a pretty long theory. Next up, one of the shortest theories, the Patrick Show theory.
Grammarly can't teach you to dance, but it can help
By
you make a great
Grammarly.
impression for free. As you type Grammarly.
we have finally got the first look of the Patrick Star Show, which aired a few days ago, and the real question is it worth watching or worth passing? The starfish from SpongeBob SquarePants has finally got his very own TV show called The Starfish Show. After over 20 years of SpongeBob, Nickelodeon finally decided to make a show based on Patrick Star and his dumb fantasies.
Yeah, finally.
And marbles and blue birds. There's one thing I can't find, and that is my keys.
Let's talk more about this show. The first episode begins with Patrick sleeping on the ceiling of his house and suddenly walking up to play with his sea urchin and doing dumb stuff, like peeling his toothpaste out and getting hurt by his sea urchin. Then Patrick is forced to be on camera by his sister, which looks nothing like him but rather looks like Squidward. Patrick then starts rambling about his TV show, showing it off, bragging, when suddenly they watch a Chum Bucket commercial which reminds Patrick to eat breakfast. This becomes rather a challenge for the starfish, but he manages to eat. Now, what are the differences? Well, the first one is Patrick does not live under a rock, but lives under a house shaped like a TV. Bikini Bottom looks nothing like Patrick's area. Patrick wears different clothes instead of just his
Yeah.
usual shorts. Patrick lives with his parents, sister, and grandfather. SpongeBob appears to look a little younger than himself.
Yeah.
Now, this TV show does not have too many similarities beside Plankton and Patrick's personality.
Nothing like a relaxing morning. Fishing. For a deadbeat.
This show's goal in each episode is daily life and so far nothing else. Now, my thoughts on this show is that I don't hate it or I don't love it, but I wouldn't mind watching this on my free time. It
Why?
seems entertaining but may not match some audience's preferences. Anyways guys, that's it for this video.
Okay, let's watch the next one. How rich is Mr. Krabs?
Have you ever seen a SpongeBob episode watching Mr. Krabs counting all his money and wonder, how much money is that? Well, today you are just about to find out Mr. Krabs' net worth.
Net
Clearly,
worth?
Mr. Krabs is one of the greediest living things on the planet and would never let a penny go to waste. Is
Okay.
he a millionaire
Or
or
a
a billionaire?
billionaire.
Well,
I'm guessing
in
a
order to make this
billionaire
total net
because he
worth
has way
extremely
much money.
accurate,
I know that.
we first need to know the days the Krusty Krab is open, which is from
Okay.
Mondays to Saturdays and closed on Sundays. To better understand, we need to first know how much he makes a year. Let's break
How
down
much?
the Krusty Krab schedule. The Krusty Krab is usually open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays through Sundays, except on Tuesdays where it stays open until 8 p.m. On Sundays, the Krusty Krabs is closed. There are 9 national holidays in the United States, which are New Year's Day,
Tuesday.
January 1st,
There's
Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January
Yes.
18th, Memorial Day,
Day.
May
Mhm.
31st, Independence Day, July
Right
the 4th,
here.
Labor
Labor
Day,
Day.
September 6th, Veterans Day, November 11th, Thanksgiving Day, November 25th, Christmas Day, December 25th, New Year's Eve, December 31st. So in a year, there are 365 days, and if you subtract the amount of Sundays from the year, we will have 313 days. And if you subtract 9 holidays, it leaves us with 304 days. So Mr. Krabs makes money on 304 days out of 365. Now we will check the cost of the food. For the sake of simplicity, we will only consider a Krabby Patty, fries, and a drink. A Krabby Patty costs $3 on every day except Wednesdays where it costs $1. Let's say the average Krabby Patty cost is $2.
$2.
Average fries cost is $1.25. And average drink cost is $1.25. The average amount of customers pay at the Krusty Krab is about $4.50. Let's think about it. How many people do we see at the Krusty Krabs in an average episode? Well, in this picture I see 10 people, and in this picture I see 7 people. Let's add 2 customers for takeout. The average customer stays at the Krusty Krab for 20 minutes, which means that every 20 minutes we get a new set of 9 customers. In 1 hour, we get 45 customers, which pay a total of $202 an hour. Now
Whoa.
let's subtract SpongeBob and Squidward's wage from this hourly pay. If Mr. Krabs paid minimum wage, then SpongeBob and Squidward make $11.22 each, which is $22.44 for all, and gives Mr. Krabs $179.56 an hour. Now let's subtract the cost
Dang,
of
he has
the
a lot
food
of money.
and utilities. In the episode Born Again Crab, the Pinch-O-Matic revealed the cost of the meat, which is 5.2 cents. Then the lettuce would cost 5 cents, cheese will cost 10 cents, onion 3 cents, tomato 4 cents, buns 3 cents, condiments 1 cent, which leaves us a total of 31.2 cents per Krabby Patty, 10 cents a drink, and 15 cents for fries, 56 cents for the meal per fish, multiply by 9, multiply by 5, and subtract by 179.56, which gives us a total of
$145.36
an hour for Mr. Krabs. On Mondays through Sundays, except on Tuesdays, we make a total of $15.43.6 each day, and on Tuesdays makes $18.52.32. In a week, that's $11,113.92 and $485,837 a year. Our last thing to do is subtract the utilities and calculate every year since Krusty Krabs was opened. Utilities are about $241.66, which leaves us to $485,534 and 34 cents a year. The Krusty Krabs was open since 1999, and now it's 2021, which means that 22 years since the Krusty Krab was opened, and the grand total is $10,683,097 and
that's a billion,
which is crazy. That is a lot of money the Krusty Krabs generated, and a lot more to come in the future. And that's how the theory ends. With that being said,
okay, moving on to the next one, the Neptune theory.
Who has freed the spatula from the grease?
The video is almost done, guys.
Mr. Neptune, sir.
Just kidding. We have lots of videos to work on.
Will you butt out? I won't have you stalling.
This is the SpongeBob movie.
it's safe to say that Spongebob is
Okay.
one of the most memorable TV shows in the world. And there are a lot of hints and conspiracies hidden behind the story of each episode. Who is the real King Neptune? Who is the imposter? Is it this guy
Right
or
or
that
this
guy?
guy?
We already
We
have
have
3
Neptunes
Neptunes in
in
SpongeBob,
SpongeBob.
and they all look different from one another.
Whatever.
Well, what if I told you that the second King Neptune locked up the first King Neptune and
Wait,
is
what?
a fraud and imposter?
You there, crustacean. Who, me? You have the physique of Atlas. Thanks. I work out. Make poses with me.
Okay.
Theory number 1. King Neptune's life.
King Neptune's
The
life.
first King Neptune is from Season 1, episode King Neptune's Spatula. In the episode, we got a look of King Neptune, a quite muscular guy with long red hair, long mustache, and a curvy beard. With a trident and has
Wow.
an overall turquoise skin color.
Water's making
The
sounds.
King
That's
Neptune
weird.
from the episode looked more legit since he was stronger and not as cruel. Also, he was much fairer. The second King Neptune from the movie from 2004. This King Neptune was bald and had a furry Santa-looking coat and was not muscular but more of a couch potato and a different
couch
trident.
potato?
Clearly his physique did not match the standards. One striking difference between both kings is their kids. King Neptune from the episodes had a son named Titron, but in the movie he had a daughter named Princess Mindy. Why was Titron not in the movie or Mindy not in the episodes? Well, because they are clearly from different families. Why would the king with different appearance have different childs?
Who's gonna win?
Theory number 2. King Neptune's stolen tridents.
What's
In
she
the
at?
2004 SpongeBob movie, when you take a look near the throne, you can see 2 tridents against the wall. Why would there be 2 tridents? Maybe
Yeah.
because there are 2 kings. Before this guy, King Neptune probably hung the 2 tridents up to remind everyone that he is the real king since he took possession of these tridents. Clearly he's not the king since you see 2 different tridents, probably of 2 different kings. We don't know who the kings were, but we do know one of them could be the OG King Neptune from the episodes.
So,
Theory number 3. King Neptune's crown. Looking back at the earlier episodes of SpongeBob in Season 6, we found a shocking proof to the theory. There was a King Neptune's crown in one of the shelves in the toy store. Why would there be a king's crown in a toy store which is worth millions
Yeah.
of dollars?
Why?
Well, clearly it's not meant to
This-
be there, but the real question is, how did it get there and who put it there? Well,
Who?
according to my theory, King Neptune from the movie in 2004 hid the crown that was stolen from the first King Neptune in the toy store.
Oh
Since
my
a crown is a
god.
great thing camouflage in a toy
Woo!
store, it's still hard to say who is actually the real king, but the King Neptune from the episode is most likely the real king. Anyways, what did you think about this theory?
Okay. Moving on to the next one is how SpongeBob explained Bavaria.
300 for that and 2,000 for this. Way too expensive. But today I'm going to show you guys how to get all this stuff for a lot cheaper.
SpongeBob has been one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's filled with jokes, humor, and Easter eggs. It's not only been a part of my theories, but also a part of my whole life.
Whole
this
life,
is the 7th
eh?
installment of my Spongebob Conspiracies, where I research SpongeBob episodes to find a meaning behind this highly humored TV show. Today I'll talk about Squidward's hallucination, paranoia, and guilt. It's a very messed up episode and has a deep meaning. It's Squid's Day Off. The theory will cover Squidward's mental health in the episode. To understand why, let's take it from the top. I think the episode Squid's Day Off is addressing the truth about how far Squidward's imagination went. And another question, is Squidward experiencing mental torture? Well, we will just have to find out. This episode starts out at the Krusty Krab, where Squidward is complaining about how badly he doesn't want to work. Where he suddenly makes the money leave the cash register. All of a sudden, Mr. Krabs drops his dime while washing it and falls against the wall, where he gets a bump on his head from heavy fallen objects. Mr. Krabs almost killed himself over a dime. Who in the world would do that? Mr. Krabs' greed has taken over most of his life. The definition of greed is an extreme or excessive desire for resources. The average hospital cost in a day is approximately $2,607, which is worth more than a dime. Mr. Krabs leaves Squidward in charge.
You should have said way more because, yeah.
Squidward sees an opportunity to slack off at home and gives SpongeBob a promotion where he runs the cash register plus the grill. Squidward starts getting second thoughts of giving SpongeBob this responsibility. He keeps checking up on SpongeBob to make sure that he doesn't give too much change or burns the Krusty Krab. This is where it starts to get crazy. Squidward starts to see SpongeBob when he's not even there.
Wait,
he
what?
sees him in the mirror saying, "I will destroy the Krusty Krabs." He keeps going home and returning to hear, "Did you finish those errands?" He then blocks his door with wooden planks, police tape, and locks. The issue begins here when he starts to see and hear SpongeBob multiple times when he's not even there. He's seen SpongeBob in his bathtub, but I think this is all in his mind, since it would be impossible to come out of the bathtub drain. Squidward is losing his mind.
Yeah.
No matter what Squidward does to try to be happy, there is always something holding him back. When you use a philosophical lens to view this theory, crime is its own punishment. What does this mean? Well, it means that you are always paying for something in life. When we cut corners in life, it ends up causing eternal problems later in life. A famous Greek philosopher, Socrates, believes to avoid deception and always seek the truth, to live a natural life. He also believes any supernatural god would punish us for cheating the system. Similarly, Squidward is ready to take advantage of his boss's trust without remembering the consequences. When you commit a murder, you are paying by taking in guilt, or when you steal a candy bar, you develop the fear towards the cops. This is very dark, since this episode convinces the audience that no matter what Squidward does, he will never be happy, and he will always fall in an endless loop of guilt. Let's think about this hypothetically.
Okay.
Imagine you are threatened by your parents for partying while they go on vacation, and they don't tell you when they'll be back. While you're partying with your friends, the door in your brain will keep reminding you of the consequences of your actions and prevent you from enjoying. Let's think of another hypothetical scenario. You never
Okay.
get to live your dream, and go home during work. You would obviously lose your mind and will not be able to relax but have a filled mind of paranoia. I believe if SpongeBob does anything wrong at the Krusty Krab, Eugene would fire him.
I know.
Squidward not only fears about SpongeBob, but the consequences of his day off. When I searched up what are the first signs of paranoia, it says being defensive, hostile, or aggressive, being easily offended, believing you are right, and having trouble relaxing or letting your guard down, not being able to compromise, forgive, or accept criticism, not being able to trust or confide in other people. The third symptom is exactly what Squidward is experiencing since he sees SpongeBob in places where nobody is there. What we can take away from this theory is to do what we are supposed to do and not go against honesty, because it can haunt you, just like how Squidward went through hell and accepted at the end that he misses his old job.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. So we're going on to the ghostly Squidward theory.
Sick of all the ads like this one? Just head to adskiller.com, click on Activate Now, add AdsKiller to your browser. Confirm, done. No more ads, no more interruptions.
Now this is the fifth theory of Spongebob Conspiracy, where I researched SpongeBob episodes to find the story behind this highly humored TV show. Today I'll talk about Squidward the Depressed Fool. Today's episode is one of SpongeBob's scariest episodes ever made when we go back to Season 1, Episode 11, Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. It's a very disturbing episode and has deep meanings that are haunting and jokes that go too far. To better understand why, let's take it from the top. So I think the episode Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost is addressing revenge and intensive pseudocide, which means to fake your death. The episode starts out with Squidward building a wax replica of himself, and all of a sudden, SpongeBob and Patrick throw a rock at his house. Squidward immediately starts to take a bath without finishing his wax sculpture. Patrick then throws a shell at Squidward's sculpture and tries to fix it when it suddenly melts. Squidward immediately walks in and sees SpongeBob and Patrick at the scene. Squidward is pale and has ghost-looking clothing. The real question is
this
that
is getting
why
so
is
creepy.
Squidward pale? Maybe it's powder.
Oh my god! Actually, right now. Oh my god! 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 Oh my god!
He is dead just to get slavery as a revenge. When I search up why people take revenge, I see that people are motivated to seek revenge to harm someone who has harmed them, or when they feel attacked, mistreated, socially rejected. Squidward was mistreated many times in previous episodes and felt helpless to what he can do to stop them, so he probably staged this death to get his revenge.
Okay, that's it. We're skipping this. We're actually skipping this.
SpongeBob is forced
We're
not
skipping
to
this. I don't want to see this.
This is Mr. Krabs, the owner of the Krusty Krabs, greediest man on Earth. What is a Krabby Patty made of? Sponge, whale, or crab? You may think he's just a crustaceous cheapskate, but you may be very wrong. For years, Mr. Krabs built a reputation of being the cheapest thing in Bikini Bottom.
Whoa.
What if I told you that Mr. Krabs is not who you think he is and may even beat Plankton in the game of evil? Mr. Krabs is evil because of what the Krabby Patty is made of, serial killing, and much more. He's hiding something inside the formula which is changing Bikini Bottom. He has a dark side. But how extreme is it? Well, we are just about to find out, since there are 6 theories to prove the dark secret of Mr. Krabs. Make sure to stick to the end to see the biggest theory ever. To prove this, in Bikini Bottom, other than Mr. Krabs and his family, there really is no other crab in Bikini Bottom that we know of. Where did the rest of the crabs go? In the episode Cracked Crabs, Mr. Krabs goes to the cheapest crab convention where he meets and competes with other crabs, but I believe that they do not live in Bikini Bottom. Clearly, he might have spare crabs from another city just in case the crab population dies out in Bikini Bottom. If you take a look at the Krusty Krab menu, you can see that all the key ingredients are in the name of the item. Another
This is
evidence
so
to
dark,
support
guys.
this is that the shape of the
And we're
Krusty
already
Krab
almost
is shaped
done.
like a crab trap. This obviously proves that Mr. Krabs is killing his fellow crab friends and using them as patty meat.
Patty
Also,
meat?
if you look at the meat, it's red. You know what else is red?
Crusher
I
class.
was a little shocked when Guardio told me about 10 different
Finally.
information leaks with which I had associated accounts.
Mr. Krabs. Clearly, this guy could be using meat of his own kind and eating it.
Guys, I'm
which
super
makes him
scared.
a cannibalistic freak. In the episode Friend or Foe, Mr. Krabs and Plankton were telling
I'm gonna see the
story of them
comments.
as kids when they were best friends. They were telling the true story of how the Krabby Patty was made and how their favorite restaurant was shut down due to health concerns. So they started working hard, and eventually the Krabby Patty was born. However, Mr. Krabs and Plankton had a fight over the patty, tearing the formula in half. Plankton got the first half, which said a pinch of chum. If you don't know what chum is, well, it's crushed up dead fish. We currently know the
fish.
Krabby Patty is made of crab and a pinch of chum, but you will lose your mind when I tell you the next ingredient. There was a post made in 2012 stating that the Krabby Patty has a pinch of Poseidon powder. Poseidon
What's
is
that?
the god of the sea, but what exactly is Poseidon powder?
Yeah.
I researched what Poseidon powder is, and I found out it means cocaine. I also made a Google search on the Krabby Patty's ingredient, and it said on the Google page that it's cocaine. This explains why SpongeBob is always hyper and full of energy. This theory proves that Krabby Patties are made of crabs plus a pinch of Poseidon powder and chum, which explains why everybody loves Krabby Patties.
Here we go. Next one. Pearl's real family.
Have you ever wondered how Mr. Krabs is the father of Pearl? Well, it's biologically impossible since a whale and a crab cannot give birth to a whale.
Yeah.
My theory is that Mr. Krabs killed Pearl's real family and probably used them as meat to sell at the Krusty Krabs when he was short of crabs. But why does Mr. Krabs still have Pearl and does not want to use her as patty meat? Well, he's probably waiting for a day to kill Pearl. You might be thinking this is impossible for a father to kill a daughter. Well,
Yeah.
think about it. Mr. Krabs is the greediest person in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
And it would make sense that if someone is very greedy, they can go out of their way to get what they want, which in Mr. Krabs' case is money according to my theory.
Yeah.
In one of the earlier episodes, Sleepy Time, SpongeBob went to Mr. Krabs' dream cloud where Mr. Krabs said he's fishing for Moby Dollar, which is a reference to Moby Dick, a book about killing a whale. I think he killed Pearl's mother and has nightmares to this day. Mr.
Yeah.
Krabs is waiting for Pearl to grow bigger and bigger because whales normally stop growing at the age of 40. This explains why Mr. Krabs wanted to keep feeding Pearl when she was on an extreme hunger. And currently she is about 15 years old. He wants
Yeah.
to use her for an endless supply of Krabby Patties.
Patty.
I mean, think about it. This is a genius plan waiting for the child to get older and bigger and collect 10 times the meat. The only reason Mr. Krabs tells everybody that Pearl is his daughter is so he can get away from the murder he's about to do. So in the episode Nasty Patty, there was a health inspector that is required by law to inspect every single restaurant.
Here comes the
in
dark
Bikini
part.
Bottom. What we find shocking is that Mr. Krabs is scared of him. Why do you think Mr.
Why?
Krabs is scared of the health inspector? Clearly, Mr. Krabs would be scared of him if he was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
In the episode Nasty Patty, he can smell the health inspector from his office, which means he has confronted him many times and developed the senses to detect him. The thing is that the health inspector looked very, very angry that he could kill someone. Literally. Maybe him and Mr. Krabs are enemies and the health inspector probably knows or suspects the Krabby Patty formula is made out of crab meat,
Yeah.
but does not have sufficient proof to get Mr. Krabs
Guys, I'm already
arrested.
scared.
Mr. Krabs is highly paranoid of the cops and health inspector that he poisoned the inspector and blamed SpongeBob on the murder. Krabs is protecting the recipe of the Krabby Patty formula from Plankton, but maybe he's not only protecting it for saving his restaurant, but he might be protecting himself from being punished for cannibalism. When Plankton and Mr. Krabs were kids, they both made the recipe together of the Krabby Patty. Even after Plankton's hard work, Mr. Krabs is not giving any credit to Plankton for the recipe, but according to my theory, Plankton might be suspecting Mr. Krabs' true recipe. Maybe he wants to expose Mr. Krabs to the whole town and shut his restaurant down. In the episode, Mr. Krabs was showing his friends a room where he has security footage of all Bikini Bottom residents. This is very creepy since only an evil man would go this far. This episode proves that Mr. Krabs has a dark side which we all might see in future episodes.
My house is on TV.
All of our houses are on TV.
Oh my god.
If you ever watched the episode The Krusty Sponge, in this episode, Krabs is thinking that SpongeBob is making a very big impact on his restaurant, so he decides to brand the Krusty Krab to be Sponge. He goes far to make sponge plates, sponge cups, sponge ketchup, sponge condiments, sponge ketchup packets, you name it. But Mr. Krabs went very, very far and actually made something called spongy patties. We still don't know what a spongy patty is, but it looks exactly like SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs fed it to the whole Krusty Krab. Now you might be thinking, where is all the sponge meat coming from? Well, some of it might be coming from SpongeBob, some of it might be coming from other sponges that are related to SpongeBob, or just live in Bikini Bottom. We really don't know where he got the meat from, but there is a theory. He's using SpongeBob's meat. Since SpongeBob is a sponge, he can regrow his body parts, as you can see in one of the episodes where SpongeBob was scared of the hash-slinging slasher and kept regrowing his limbs. Not only that, but it seems like Mr. Krabs is controlling SpongeBob's mind. SpongeBob was a normal kid in the first episode just looking for a job. But ever since he got a job, you can tell each season SpongeBob is getting weirder and weirder. And all behind this is Mr. Krabs. As you can see in the Krabby Chronicle episode, Mr. Krabs keeps getting angry at SpongeBob when he doesn't satisfy his needs. And in many other episodes, Mr. Krabs gets angry at him when he does something against his will. Clearly you can see that SpongeBob is getting controlled by Mr. Krabs, and Mr. Krabs is controlling his mental state and making him do whatever Mr. Krabs wants. That's why Mr. Krabs loves SpongeBob, since he literally found a free robot that he could boss around for the rest of his life. Back to the Krabby Patties. When people started to eat them, they started turning into zombies. Now there's a really great reason why this happened, because you can get poisoned by eating somebody else's meat. For example, if you eat raw meat, you might start getting contaminated, but everyone turned into zombies. That is probably because of the sponge patty. There's no doubt about it, because it's called a sponge patty. For a reason now. Why would Mr. Krabs go very far just to make sponge patties for customers? Maybe SpongeBob is contaminated with something that Mr. Krabs put inside the spongy patties to control him, and is now trying to feed it to the whole Bikini Bottom so they can be controlled by Mr. Krabs just by a transmission of bacteria from the sponge.
I need you to unpack these boxes. What's in them? Condiments. We got tangy spongy sauce and mild Bobby sauce for the not so daring. We got SpongeBob drinking straws, coasters, bibs, and my personal favorite, SpongeBob ice cubes. Of this, spongy patties.
Spongy patties.
And that's how the theory ends. And I'm telling you guys, this is not an accident. This stuff is planned for a reason. You might be thinking this is just a lame old cartoon that you watch on a Saturday morning. But no, this holds a lot of history. Maybe even more history than any movie can. So this is a conspiracy of Mr. Krabs, and is a dark secret Mr. Krabs might be holding. SpongeBob might be controlled by Mr. Krabs. And Mr. Krabs might be using meat from crabs. Who knows what happened, but keep in mind that this is just a theory, and it is most likely what happened in SpongeBob SquarePants. With that being said, please check out my other theories where I uncover the meaning behind a character and an episode. Thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to never miss another theory.
Well, little Patty,
Here's the next one. We have the augmentation theory, but the other theory, I didn't like it. So I hope this one's not good enough. I hope this one's not scary enough.
After 8 great conspiracies, I can safely say SpongeBob has not only been a part of my channel, but also my whole life. The writers take their time to leave the audience with a question at the end of the video. I believe that all characters in SpongeBob SquarePants are weird and double weird. My thoughts are that each of the SpongeBob characters are addicted to a drug that is causing physical and mental changes to their behavior, and I am willing to prove it. What drugs could they be hooked on? We will just have to find out. Today I'll talk about the darkness of each character on SpongeBob SquarePants. This is one of the most hidden theories yet and will be revealed on today's video. The theory will uncover the truth of what drugs SpongeBob and his friends consume and how they are affected. Make sure to see the last theory since it will blow your mind. To understand why, let's take it from the top. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is one of the most hyper people you would ever see in any episode. He has an extreme love and passion for a minimum wage job, where his boss finds numerous ways to make his life hell. His love for Squidward is off the charts and so severe that he would go up to any length to talk to him. I think that SpongeBob hallucinates in every single episode since he sees and hears things that others don't. For example, he sees the world in a different way. I believe the drug SpongeBob is taking is shrooms, which is a drug that causes dilated pupils, increases heart rate, psychosis, and hallucinations. When SpongeBob ate a Krabby Patty for the first time, he turned into one in his thoughts, which was probably a hallucination instead. SpongeBob also has a hyperactive imagination, which explains why he can be entertained with the little things found in life. The definition of psychosis is what affects the way your brain processes information. SpongeBob sees Bikini Bottom in a much more positive way and loves what everyone else hates. Patrick. Patrick is one of the dumbest creatures in Bikini Bottom who has won the trophy for doing nothing. This sea star is uncovering his slow speech, carefree attitude, desire to sleep, and extreme desire to eat. His voice is deeper than all his friends, which could be a side effect of weed. The main side effects of weed relates to the brain, causing memory loss and slow speech. In 99% of the episodes, Patrick shows the symptoms of weed with delayed communication, slow speech, and mindless behavior. Squidward. Squidward is infamous for being the most depressed, sad, and grumpy creature in Bikini Bottom. Squidward hates going to work, never got to live his dream, which is being a famous clarinet player, but is always rejected by society. He always wants to be famous and live the dream and prove Squilliam wrong, but works at the Krusty Krabs and is forced to live next door to the worst neighbors in the world. He has the worst luck out of all of them and never has a happy ending in the episodes. My thoughts are that Squidward uses heroin to cope with his depression, which is caused by his lifestyle. If you notice, you can easily see that Squidward's behaviors match the side effects of heroin abuse. Squidward is always less energetic and very calm when at normal state. Heroin is scientifically proven to reduce productivity. This explains his poor performance at work and mood swings throughout the day. Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff. Let's break this down. Mr. Krabs is not only the cheapest crab in Bikini Bottom, but also one of the most paranoid characters in Bikini Bottom. Mr. Krabs is highly paranoid of his recipe being stolen by Plankton. Whenever he finds out that Plankton is in an attempt to steal the secret formula, he gets shocked and paranoid. Now let's talk about someone with extreme paranoia, Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff is the most paranoid person in Bikini Bottom. Whenever she sees SpongeBob, she freaks out and starts having a mental breakdown. She thinks that she is in a boat with SpongeBob even if she's just eating at the Krusty Krab or sleeping in her house. Mrs. Puff and Mr. Krabs are probably addicted to cocaine, which explains why they both can't control their thoughts and let paranoia in their brain. Cocaine is designed to block the neurons so that the information from the neuron cannot reach the receptors. This explains why they don't have any positive thoughts. I guess we're done, right?
No.
Wrong. You really thought I forgot about Gary? Huh. Gary.
Yeah.
Gary is the most obvious character to prove this whole theory. He is the key to the lock. Gary is known to be very annoying
the darkest
to
part of the
SpongeBob.
theory.
He constantly wants food all the time and
He
makes
wants
a whole
food all the
tantrum when he
time.
doesn't get it. In the episode Snail Bites, Gary is just hooked onto them and is ready to perform any task just to have that treat. SpongeBob ran out of snail bites, but Gary kept meowing for the rest of the episode. He was selfish enough to make SpongeBob travel around the world just to find them. This is an obvious addiction since the factory stopped making them for a reason. They probably got banned since the snail bites had some drug that is addictive. I still can't figure out what drug it is, but if you know what drug it is, please let me know in the comments. And that's how the theory ends.
That was pretty good. Okay, let's get into the comments. Fun fact.
At WB
Next
Engine,
up,
we power your freedom to create online.
SpongeBob has been my favorite TV show since my first time watching it. It's filled with jokes and Easter eggs. Now this is my next Spongebob Conspiracy where I research SpongeBob episodes to find a story behind this highly humored TV show.
Okay, let's do it.
Today I'll talk about the importance of being happy with the littlest things in life, and not everyone can be happy with little things. Today's episode is one of SpongeBob's most meaningful episodes ever made when we go back to Season 1, Episode 16B, The Paper. The theory will cover how easily you can be happy with nothing. To understand why, let's take it from the top. I think the episode is addressing the truth about how life can be great no matter who you are and what you have. This episode starts out with Squidward relaxing outside his house where he chews a gumball, throws the paper, and suddenly SpongeBob asks Squidward if he wants it back multiple times and eventually realizes that Squidward doesn't want it. Squidward plays his clarinet and gets distracted by SpongeBob where he does cool things with just a piece of paper. It sounds weird, but if you watch the entire episode, you would probably understand what the fuss is about. At first, Squidward is not impressed with SpongeBob, but later in the episode, he realizes that the paper is fun, but keeps telling himself it's boring. He tries his best to have fun without the paper to try to convince his inner mind. After extreme jealousy, Squidward finally wants the paper back and demands SpongeBob to give it back. SpongeBob does not want to break the promise by giving the paper back. Squidward ultimately offers to trade everything he owns, including the shirt on his back, just to get the paper back. When Squidward gets the paper, he tries to imitate the things that SpongeBob did with the paper, but fails to do so, and then realizes that he made a big mistake. And that's how the episode ends. If this episode teaches us something, then it teaches us to learn to be happy with the little things in life. Squidward failed to be happy with small things. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape his boredom. Obviously, in this episode, Squidward went insane enough to trade everything he owns, which includes his home, which is probably worth 200k alone, and for a paper that's worth less than a penny. Squidward is very miserable that he can do anything to feel the happiness that SpongeBob felt. SpongeBob, on the other hand, finds amusement in things that seem boring for even a baby, but goes through to show us all that Squidward and SpongeBob are polar opposite figures, and that's how the theory ends. With that being
Okay, that's it. Moving on to the next one. The endless theory.
So after all my conspiracies, I can safely say SpongeBob has not only been a part of my channel, but also my whole life. I think it's a really creative show and never fails to show continuity. I believe the episode Fear of a Krabby Patty has a very deep meaning and shows a lot more than what we see. I believe that this episode hints that too much of a good thing can destroy you, and there is a limit of getting what you want, and I'm willing to prove it. The episode starts out with Mr. Krabs changing the Krusty Krab business hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., which is 7 hours extra. Mr. Krabs is getting very ridiculous, but it's about to get even worse. Mr. Krabs sees that the Chum Bucket is open 23 hours a day, which motivates Mr. Krabs to change the Krusty Krab timings to 24 hours.
24
this is bizarre
hours.
Since 24 hours means that they keep working forever. So of course Mr. Krabs is cheap enough to not even hire an extra set of employees to take care of the night shift, so he makes SpongeBob and Squidward work 24/7, which means no breaks at all. This is a mental obsession that Mr. Krabs carries in his noggin and is taking over his mind. This TV program shows that Mr. Krabs can't even spare losing even the littlest opportunities of making money. So as Mr. Krabs stated in the past that it's every Krabs goal to make $1 million, but Mr. Krabs is worth $10 million and does not need to worry about making any more money since he's already successful. But that's not the reason. Mr. Krabs' greed is taking over him, and he's probably the victim at this point. Maybe it has something to do with Plankton since he is the reason this whole episode became a thing.
Yeah.
Plankton ordered 10,000 Krabby Patties from Mr. Krabs, which is used to make SpongeBob sleepier. Then he sees something in the episode that revealed the scary truth of the episode. At this point of the episode, it's been 43 days since they last started working 24 hours. They all look tired and dead inside. But the real question is, why is Mr. Krabs awake when he is the owner and does not have to be there all day? Well, this is due to the phobia that Mr. Krabs is suffering from. This phobia is called a tachyphobia, which means you have an irrational and persistent fear of failing. This is exactly what Mr. Krabs is suffering from. Even after SpongeBob expresses how bad his mental health has been from working non-stop, Mr. Krabs still does not care and drags him in. All of a sudden, Plankton throws a paper airplane with his psychiatric information.
I'm getting sleepy.
Mr. Krabs has no choice
but we're
to
almost
send
done.
SpongeBob there for his Krabby Patty phobia.
We just
Plankton
have
then performs
one,
a test on SpongeBob to try to
two,
make him cough out the secret formula. Then hypnotizes SpongeBob, causing him to sleep. SpongeBob then dreams about jellyfishing, then suddenly sees a Krabby Patty that seems to be very nice.
12,
he wakes
13,
up and the episode ends.
14,
This episode not only showed
15,
a lot about Mr. Krabs,
16.
but mainly
We're
targeted
almost done.
to show
Just
SpongeBob's
16
mental
more
behavior.
episodes.
SpongeBob is a kid who loves Krabby Patties to his heart. but SpongeBob is suffering from sebophobia, which is the fear of food. For someone to hate something that brought them joy and worth living, they gotta be going through a hard time. The message of the episode is that life comes with its limits and shall not be exceeded.
Okay, that's
and
it.
that's how the theory ends. With that being
What is going on?
To the next one.
Let's go.
We got me fever just a time.
SpongeBob has not only been
Okay guys, I got something I can show you. For the rest of the video, I got something I gotta show you. Patrick is here. And SpongeBob. Okay, now it's more better. They're gonna watch it. Okay, let's do it.
a part of my channel, but also my whole life. The writers take their time to leave the audience with a question at the end of the episode. Today I'll talk about the truth of Bubble Bass.
Bubble Bass?
This is the biggest Krusty Krab theory when we go back to Season 1, Episode Pickles. The theory will prove Bubble Bass worked for the Krusty Krabs before SpongeBob. Stick to the end for the biggest theory ever. To understand why, let's take it from the top. Evidence 1. His order. In the episode Pickles, Bubble Bass approaches Squidward to order an unusual Krabby Patty.
I'll take a double triple boxy deluxe on a raft. 4x4
I watched
animal
Pickles
style.
before.
Extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze. Light axle grease, make it cry. Burn it and let it swim.
Why would Bubble Bass order a Krabby Patty with car parts and raft? Maybe because he knows SpongeBob never made one of those throughout his career. Or maybe Bubble Bass worked at the Krusty Krab and knew that they sold this particular patty when he was in the service long before SquarePants. Bubble Bass is trying to question SpongeBob's talent on fry cooking since he is puzzled
Let's see
on
how
why
many
he got fired
comments.
from the Krusty Krabs. He is trying to take revenge on SpongeBob for taking his job. SpongeBob and Bubble Bass are rivals since they looked each other in the eye with anger. Bubble Bass is using the analogy of, I can do it, can you? He looks like he knows a lot about food and thinks that he can get SpongeBob out of the Krusty Krabs by proving him wrong. Evidence number 2. Knowledge. In the same episode, Bubble Bass ate the Krabby Patty and lied, saying the Krabby Patty had no pickles. What happens next will blow your mind. Bubble Bass asks for a refund of $2 for the Krabby Patty and talks about the Krusty Krab money-back guarantee, which is written on the menu and requires a microscope to read off. Judging by Bubble Bass's glasses, it would be even harder for someone with imperfect vision to see microscopic words on a menu over 12 feet away. But then how did Bubble Bass even find out? Well, we all know that Mr. Krabs is very cheap and wrote the money-back guarantee really small so customers don't see it. But employees would know about the guarantee since they work there and are supposed to know the rules and regulations. Bubble Bass clearly worked at the Krusty Krabs to know all the rules.
This is the Bubble Bass theory. I remember
Evidence
this.
number 3.
Yeah, I don't like
Appearance.
Bubble Bass.
If you are still not convinced that Bubble Bass
Let's watch
worked
this
at the
theory.
Krusty Krab, then take a look at his appearance. He certainly matches a fry cook physique with his tank top, weight, and love for food. Maybe when Bubble Bass worked at the Krusty Krabs, he got free patties instead of paychecks, which would explain why he weighs a lot. Evidence number 4. Plankton. This may be the most fascinating evidence in today's theory.
Okay.
When I was watching Season 1, Episode 10B, Fun, I noticed that in the movie theater, Bubble Bass was trying to kill Plankton by sitting on him.
Hey, Bubble Bass, you're sitting on my friend.
At first I wasn't buying it, but then in the end of the
Oh my
episode, it
God.
was shocking.
What
Bubble Bass was
happened?
trying to eat Plankton. In another episode, Bubble Bass was trying to escape from a smoking building window and landed on Plankton, crushing him flat. This is obviously intended. Let's make connections. Who does Plankton hate? And who is Bubble Bass trying to impress? Mr. Krabs. Clearly he is trying to kill Plankton so that he can impress Mr. Krabs and replace SpongeBob's position. Guys, you gotta tell me this is planned, because there is no way this is an accident. And that's how the theory ends.
That's actually very dark. Remember 15. We're almost done, guys. I promise we're almost done.
This is live, local, and prime.
How does SpongeBob give life to non-living things? What's his purpose in Bikini Bottom? Is he a Greek god or secretly King Neptune? This may be the biggest mystery in Bikini Bottom, and today I will prove that SpongeBob is a supernatural figure. After all my conspiracies, I can safely say SpongeBob has not only been a part of my channel, but also my whole life. I think it's a really creative show and never fails to show continuity. Like I've said before, SpongeBob is a weird show that constantly hides things without you even realizing. So in order to tell if SpongeBob is a supernatural figure, we first need to think of something only a god can do. God gives life, which nobody else in the world can ever do. And when I mean by life, I'm not talking about reproduction, but instead talking about giving life to non-living things, which is only something that SpongeBob has done in the past. In the episode Frankendoodle, SpongeBob found an ordinary pencil which came to life and came from fishermen above the sea. He then started drawing objects on the ground which came to life in a couple of seconds. He then gave life to Doodlebob, who is as alive as everybody else in Bikini Bottom. But then at the end of the episode, we see something very fascinating which displays SpongeBob turning Doodlebob into a drawing by contact of paper. This seems very godlike since no one else in Bikini Bottom has ever done something this magical. If you still don't believe that SpongeBob can give life, then how did SpongeBob give life to Bubble Buddy? Whenever SpongeBob blows a bubble, it gives life to ducks, elephants, caterpillars, and even fish like Bubble Buddy. In the beginning of the episode, Bubble Buddy was just a bubble, but at the end, he came to life. Still don't believe me? In the episode One Crab's Trash, SpongeBob went to the cemetery to return the bubble-blowing helmet to Smitty Werben Jensen. When Mr. Crab goes to take the bubble-blowing helmet, all the skeletons, including Smitty, suddenly come to life. He probably brought them to life so that Mr. Krabs learns not to dig up graves. There is no way that skeletons, Bubble Buddies, or Doodlebobs just suddenly come to life in thin air. Clearly, SpongeBob is a supernatural figure to make the impossible possible.
Okay, let's have the mercury.
In the earlier episodes of SpongeBob called Band Geeks,
Band
Squidward meets William Fancy Son, who is a high school band classmate and is healthier and more successful than Squidward. He is then forced by his hatred to make a band to impress Squilliam and prove that he is better and has a better band than him. Squidward then helps Bikini Bottom residents practice playing instruments so that they are ready for the band. Squidward takes days to try to make Bikini Bottom to just recite a band. After failing to recite them, he goes home crying, but suddenly SpongeBob miraculously turns the noobs into a professional band in the matter of a few hours that knocks out Squilliam because of how good they play. If that's not convincing, then in the episode Squilliam returns, Squidward meets Squilliam and is shamed for his cashier position at the Krusty Krab. He suddenly lies about owning a 5-star restaurant to show Squilliam that he's more successful. Squidward takes hours to try to remodel the Krusty Krab into a fancy restaurant, but fails to do so. The Krusty Krab is a mess and everyone inside goes insane. Suddenly, when Squidward goes outside to confess, once they enter, the Krusty Krab magically turns into a 5-star restaurant. It's literally only about 30 seconds, which physically and theoretically impossible for a sponge to do on his own. I'm guessing as soon as Squidward was gone, SpongeBob used his magic to transform the Krusty Krab into a 5-star restaurant in thin air. Miracles are not easy for a living being to perform, but a god is a different story. He loves Squidward unconditionally and is trying to give the poor creature a chance in life, which God gives to every living thing on Earth. Not to mention, in the 2004 movie, he was the one who magically freed all the Bikini Bottom residents from the Chum Bucket invasion by his Goofy Goober performance.
Yeah.
In the episode Neptune's Spatula, SpongeBob and Patrick visit the Fry Cook Museum, where they find a golden spatula that nobody, even Larry the Lobster, can't remove. But SpongeBob removed it without even thinking about it. Neptune then humiliates SpongeBob and gives SpongeBob a challenge to face him in a cook battle, where Neptune uses magic to make over 1,000 patties, but taste horrible. SpongeBob, on the other hand, makes them by hand, which Neptune loves and can't live without his patties. At the end, we see SpongeBob scolding Neptune for using magic to make patties, and Neptune says SpongeBob's lines, which is, "Patties are made with love, not magic."
What did I tell you about using your powers?
Perfect patties are made with love, not magic.
This makes me think that SpongeBob is originally a god that is more powerful than Neptune, since he taught him the valuable lesson of life. Now that I think about it, SpongeBob is the only character in Bikini Bottom who knows the difference between right and wrong. He always wishes good upon people and is loyal to his boss, friends, and people in general. And that's how the theory ends. With that being said, please check out.
Next up, SpongeBob the movie, the last episode.
At Vistaprint, we can get your brand into your customers' hands, or their heads.
We're almost done, finally.
Is the SpongeBob movie referring to the future? Is this Neptune actually Titron? Well, you are just about to find out, since there are 4 proofs to prove this theory. Today's SpongeBob theory is based on the official SpongeBob movie that was released in 2004. Can I tell you guys that this is the best movie of all time? Not only because of the long journey that SpongeBob and Patrick took to get the crown back from Neptune, but also how this movie is hiding something that a lot of you never thought about, which is why I think enough is enough. I need to tell you guys that SpongeBob the movie is based on the future and last episode we'd ever see in SpongeBob SquarePants. This is a dark movie and also captures a dark theory with it. Let's begin. Exclusively in the SpongeBob movie, we were given something that Nickelodeon never shown us in any episode of SpongeBob, except for the movie, which makes me wonder, where did Nickelodeon bump their head to add the second Krusty Krab in the movie, but not in the episodes? Well, there's an easy way to explain that. Well, you see, Mr. Krabs probably reached a specific financial state to finally decide to build a Krusty Krabs directly beside the current restaurant. In a television perspective, it seems like a happy ending, which most movies have, but SpongeBob is originally a TV show, so this proves that SpongeBob the movie is in a different time period. In the SpongeBob movie, Mr. Krabs gave Squidward the manager position, which always makes me wonder, how come Squidward never got to be manager in the TV series? There is a simple explanation for that. Like I said before, Mr. Krabs became successful enough to not work at the Krusty Krab since the Krusty Krab franchise expanded. In the real world, it's quite common to work at your own restaurant, but when it comes to a certain success level, you might retire, which Nickelodeon is indirectly hinting to all SpongeBob fans out there. Also, in one of the episodes called Squid on Strike, we got a clip that may confirm this whole theory. We can clearly see that SpongeBob and Squidward were still working at the Krusty Krab, but if you take a look closely, you can see that SpongeBob is sitting at the cashier boat
Why?
where Squidward originally worked at, and Squidward is sweeping the floor. Not to mention Mr. Krabs is not in the scene. Maybe SpongeBob getting the manager position meant that Squidward would downgrade position of sweeping at the floor. Many people believe that the King Neptune in the movie is nothing more than a redesign by Nickelodeon. But I believe that this might be the King Neptune from the future, or specifically Titron. For those of you who don't know
I
who
know
Titron
Titron.
is, he is the King Neptune's son who is from the TV series. This would make total sense because the original King Neptune was nice and responsible, and Titron was a good son who became evil because of his dad. This caused Titron to be evil, and judging by the destruction of Bikini Bottom, he most likely would be the King Neptune from the movie that wanted to kill Mr. Krabs. To end off this amazing theory, I would like to talk about the ending of the movie. We all know that Plankton was trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula, but the attempts in the beginning of the show in season 1 were smaller attempts, like faking injuries or straight up stealing it in front of Mr. Krabs. But in the movie, shown a crime that is worth the death penalty or life in prison, which is not only stealing the crown from the god of the sea, but also framing an innocent man, Mr. Krabs. But in the movie, Plankton runs out of ideas of stealing the Krabby Patty formula, and Karen tells Plankton to try Plan Z, since it's the last plan left. This strikes my mind and confirms the whole theory. The letter Z is the last letter of the alphabet, which also means that it could be the last Plankton attempt, which proves that this is in the future. Plankton goes to jail, but I believe that this is the last time they ever see him, since stealing something from royalty is a bigger punishment than murder. And
that will be it. The next one is the evil Sandy Cheeks.
The $6 your way deal at Burger King.
Remember to eat this
win. Your choice of a bacon
at
double
Burger
cheeseburger
King.
or a rodeo double cheeseburger.
why is Sandy Cheeks still living in Bikini Bottom when she can live a great life in Texas?
Yeah.
Is she evil? Is she stupid? Or is she an evil genius working with Plankton to take over Bikini Bottom? Well, we are just about to find out, since there are 5 theories to prove her dark side. These theories will reveal the dark secret of Sandy Cheeks.
You have 5 seconds to like this video.
I already did subscribe.
4, 3, 2, 1. Let's continue.
Coming in at the first theory, Sandy can make evil plans and work with Plankton. In a random episode clip, we can see that Sandy was using her evil genius plans to fool Plankton's plans. After fooling Plankton, she told SpongeBob and Patrick, "You can never fool a squirrel from Texas," and continued with a horrid Joker laugh, which is very strange since Sandy is meant to be the good guys in the show, but instead carries a second face in the episode. This will scare a lot of you, but there is more to be revealed. Maybe she is a criminal, maybe she is an evil genius working with Plankton, but you all don't know that. You might be thinking she is a normal squirrel that just wants to go,
Yeah.
but she may have a lot underneath those fingernails. Take a look at the clip.
Imagine the evil plan the whole time. Nobody fools a squirrel from Texas.
That's actually funny.
Coming in at the second theory, why is Sandy not in Texas if she really wants to go? Well, you see, in a lot of episodes, Sandy is extremely desperate to go back home to Texas. The real question is, why is the squirrel so desperate to go to Texas?
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in the way of her journey to Texas. Maybe there is a big reason she is still in Bikini Bottom. There are a lot of experiments that Sandy performs on a day-to-day schedule.
Yeah.
She has lots of gadgets and does a lot of awkward things behind SpongeBob and Patrick's backs. Breaking world records, underwater hibernation, amazing inventions. Surely there is a dark reason behind Sandy Cheeks' one-way mission to Bikini Bottom. Maybe her reason is to take over Bikini Bottom with Plankton or to kill the underwater race. Because in a lot of episodes you see Sandy
After
teams
this,
up
we're
with
done,
Plankton
okay,
and
guys?
uses SpongeBob as a lab rat. It's crazy how Plankton is a scientist. Well, guess who
I know,
else is a
but
scientist?
next Sunday
It's
we'll do
Sandy.
part 2, okay?
The only two scientists we mainly know from the show is Sandy and Plankton. A
Yeah.
scientist and a scientist are more likely to work together, and that's what she could be doing down there. I think that Sandy and Plankton are planning to take over the world because Sandy is here for a weird reason. We still don't know why Sandy lives underwater, but we could theorize that Sandy is up to a fishy situation because besides taking over the world, there's no real reason why Sandy should live underwater. I mean, come on. Sandy is a scientist that needs many resources in her experiments, but lives in a place where those experiments cannot be done. Why would she stay in Bikini Bottom without any resources? Because clearly if she goes to Texas, she can easily find laboratories, other fellow scientists, and resources. But now there's something Sandy is trying to accomplish down there, and you can see there is always something up with her. She is always trying to invent something.
Oh
but there
my
is no
God.
way Sandy is studying Bikini Bottom because when you see her inventions, they look pointless to study Bikini Bottom with, but instead look fishy. Take a look at the clip where Sandy works with Plankton.
More justice.
Okay. Let her rip!
Do you think this is a good look for me, or is it a bit too flashy?
Stand clear!
So coming in at the third theory on proving Sandy's dark secret is that Sandy goes to the moon. A chipmunk squirrel that is meant to stay on land, lives underwater, but also wants to go to the moon. In Season 1, episode Sandy's Rocket, Sandy wanted to do a moon mission. Now SpongeBob was aware that Sandy wanted to do a moon mission and he wanted to join the mission, but Sandy refused. There might be a real reason why she refused. Maybe she is hiding something up there or hiding treasures from Bikini Bottom. And maybe she is not from Texas but another planet. We don't know that part yet, but we are just trying to prove that she is evil. Another reason why she is evil is because she has a puff gun which she claims to use to harvest moon rock, but does not make sense since moon rock can be carried in a rocket. Although SpongeBob and Patrick used that gun to capture their friends and actually made it work, there is no way that Sandy made this gun on accident, but sounds like it was intended for shooting at people. Also, there is proof that aliens do not exist on Moon. Why does she need a puff gun then? Also, Sandy claimed that she went to the moon twice, and there were no aliens on the moon. Why would she go to the moon twice? NASA went to the moon once in 1969 and never returned because it seemed almost pointless to go again for research. Clearly Sandy is up to no good. Take a look at the clip.
The moon! Can I go?
No way, SpongeBob. Especially after your little mishap with my whirly bird. Besides, there's not enough room for you.
But I don't take up that much space. See? I can fit in here. Oh, look at that pop gun. Are we gonna go hunting aliens on the moon?
Oh, hush, silly. This is for harvesting moon rocks.
Well, when you're done playing with rocks, you can use that for some serious alien hunting.
Aliens? Are you nuts? I've been to the moon. There are no aliens.
Sandy probably made Karen for Plankton.
Ooh,
in one of the SpongeBob episodes, you can see that Sandy owns a computer that has a striking resemblance to Karen
This
the
is
computer.
not good, guys.
Considering there are
This
no
is not
computers in
good.
Bikini Bottom,
This
but a
is
lot
not
up there in
good.
Texas,
This is not
she could
good.
be helping Plankton, who is
Wow.
the enemy of the whole city.
Lastly, my fully automated nutcracker.
Coming in at the fifth theory on proving Sandy's dark secret is chimpanzees. In the episode Chimps Ahoy, there were 3 chimpanzees that were Sandy's boss, and they were here to tell Sandy that they're gonna cut her funding and send her back to Texas if she doesn't make an invention. Well, Sandy was looking all scared, nervous, shivering. Looked like she was probably forced to do that stuff. Now think about it, chimpanzees and squirrels both live up in dry land. And they are working together. It seems like the chimpanzees are controlling Sandy and they might be behind this whole thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might be the ones that are making Sandy try to destroy Bikini Bottom.
Uh-huh.
Sandy? What's going on here? Sandy, are you okay? What's wrong, Sandy?
They're coming. They're coming. The chimps are coming.
Oh.
So yeah, this is my theory on why I think Sandy is evil, and I'm telling you guys, these are not
Okay. Guys, that was actually a good video. Part 2 will come out in next Sunday Night Watch. And goodbye. See you next Sunday on Sunday Night Watch, Part 2. Let's do it. Goodbye. Bye.